Hello and welcome, Cosmic Quantum Timeline Traveling Diamond Avatars. I hope you are doing well amidst the intensity and feeling your sparkling diamond self coming online. The energies are super intense, but they're definitely lifting to a new higher level and us along with it. So we've been shifting a lot of the density and a lot of the programming, a lot of the deep-seated trauma and pathologies within the psyche and our ego selves, all that is false and artificial on many different layers. And yeah, there's been so much happening. I will try and concise the message a little bit, possibly, and focus on the most important parts. I've shared a lot in my writings. I tried to share a couple of posts today also on the YouTube community page, but it wouldn't let me. AI is acting up. The matrix is glitching. Kitty is meowing and agreeing. And we are ready to rock and roll. And so are the grids, because it's already done. But we keep making it happen, because this is all about us reclaiming our guardianship over the realities. So it's about a shift in power, and we need to reclaim that power. It doesn't just come to us, okay? It's remembered. It also gets activated in a way we can't, force it, but we're also active participants in the co-creation that are the realities. And as I've written, worlds and universes don't create themselves. And we do need to get away from the God worshipping outside of us and realize the God inside of us. And that's really the last step. And for that, we do need to transcend the ego. And killing the ego is maybe not the perfect term, but in a sense, it does die, the false ego self, the separated ego selves that is stuck in a psychosis, basically, because we do have to realize the psychosis and that we are in a dream in order to awaken fully. Because I know many of us believe they are awakened and others are asleep, but sorry, we are all still asleep because we're still, taking part in this level of the dream. So many of us know how to ascend. It's built into our instruction sets because we are the ascended masters and the guardians. So we are from those rishi levels, those pre-meta levels. So when I talk about, or many people know, the threefold founder flame, or threefold flame, as many know it, these are the primary emanations of the Godhead. And this is the consciousness that's at the moment integrating and being physicalized. And that hasn't really been done before. So we're going beyond what was done before. And some of the information I've shared, for example, on the Indigo Type 4, which is a triple diamond sun body and 72 strands of triple helix DNA, is the new template of the new diamond avatar. And that is kind of a upgrade from where we've been before, where the highest was 48 strands of the Azurite identity. Now, all these terms might not make sense right now to everyone watching here. Most people that have followed me at least for a little while have come across Ascension Glossary, the page, because I do share it a lot, because it is a free resource and it's a Ascension Glossary, and it is quite handy. And I have used it for many years. I don't use it as a Bible. I really pick out the bits that resonate with me and I leave the rest, because yes, not everything is resonant. Lisa Renee, who writes the website or is, kind of behind it, also has another website, which is Energetic Synthesis. And I don't really share from there because there's usually a lot. First of all, it's very heavy material, as many might have noticed reading some of this, as I leave the links. or are already aware with these kind of materials. So it's really important that we don't get too attached and too lost in the detail. That's what I find with these kind of materials. And also that we have really integrated enough of the oneness to understand kind of, to not take it too literal, to not get lost in the stories of, you know, fallen angelics versus the Christic angelics, the divine human, the angelic human, and although on one level that is playing out, and we do need to recognize that, on another level, we also need to transcend it altogether through merging within the oneness and source, which is us unifying all of these pieces and aspects. That means also the fallen aspects as one, because that transcends this level of the game. And we do want to wake up, do we not? And I hope most people can now see that we are walking in a dream, and we want to now make it a more enjoyable experience and create our own version of the dream in a very conscious manner. And that's what we are awakening now. So for people who, so any terms that you don't know, look them up on Ascension Glossary. It's really good. I find, you know, it's really a mix of obviously us recovering our own gnosis and wisdom and knowing and remembering, but it also does get triggered as we are exposed to certain materials that resonate at a very deep level, such as this material. And it's really a frame of reference of how we make sense of the world, because at a bigger level, it's kind of how we tell children stories of, you know, how to explain the morals and ethics, isn't it? So that's how I like to see it. I like to see it more symbolically and a bit more abstract. I don't like to attach too much to the stories of who we are, but it's also important to recognize this, because this is the mission and the purpose that then makes us, you know, it's part of the remembering. If we can't remember who we are, we don't know what we're here to do, we don't know our purpose, and we are a little bit lost in a dream. And this is what's happening everywhere, really. Everybody is kind of lost in a dream, just to different extents. And, you know, we can't even see it. And I was writing, what I was really being shown is that it's like best described as if we are stuck on a bad trip. You know, psychedelic trips, if you take mushrooms, LSD, so you're going into your unconscious, but you kind of got lost because the heart or the mind got disconnected from the heart. And I was shown then that this really is what created all of these realities, and then eventually AI, because what AI is really algorithms. And also when you think of, you know, the new AI friends, which are like apps you can take, and it's like as if you have an AI friend who's basically programmed to say the things you want to hear. It's basically fake, okay? It's a attempt at faking love, and that frequency will never be there. So you cannot fake love, you cannot fake even intelligence, because even the AI might come up with very intelligent, very complex constructs, still the heart intelligence has a much higher quantum perspective, and that goes beyond logic thinking. And that's our advantage, really. And as I was shown how AI really is, because, I mean, even if you think at a galactic level how this has, you know, happened, it still comes back to someone comes up with this, okay? So it really all comes back to when we create the mind disconnected from the heart, which is its connection to soul and to source, it loses its way and it creates realities that are not heart-based and that are not serving everyone. Okay, and we've been very mentally focused. And what I'm seeing is this flip and this reset within the magnetic field and the core of Earth and the magnetic field, which returns us to the organic magnetism, where we basically, this is the 13-dimensional diamond grid, which then enables us to run all dimensional frequencies all the way back from source. And that's really what switches on New Earth. And this is very much connected to the heart. and the emerald ray activations that came in today. And there's an emerald heart grid, and it's connected to an interdimensional communication network, which is basically connecting us all. I've been feeling really a heightened telepathy happening between people, very switched on. I mean, it's very mental in the field anyway, as we're clearing out all these programming. I'm kind of quite exhausted by it. But what I'm seeing is happening also with the activation that I'm doing for the 22nd, but also in quantum no time, Awaken Your Inner Dragon, is that it's really about the heart opening and the emerald heart grid activation that then resets the magnetic grid, that clears all the remaining reversals running in the field, and it also takes out the remaining AI net. Because what's also part of that is the ozone layer and all the chemtrails, and they're basically holding up some of the photonic light that's trying to get in, which is basically part of us being able to activate our DNA. We know that light codes come in through the sun, and obviously there's a big propaganda against the sun for exactly these reasons, because they don't want us to activate our DNA, because that switches on, you know, the organic realities. I mean, it's all in free flow. Okay, it's been ordained, it's happening, it's all set. There's no more way back. That doesn't mean that they are not trying to do all they can, especially right now. I'm feeling a lot of black magic, and let's just say we're dealing with it. So that's just part of the fun we get to have here. So, you know, so just to come back to the activations, so if you haven't seen yet, I'm doing an activation. I know it's called Magdalene's Feast Day, the 22nd of July. Now, I don't like the name either. And I know, again, there is a lot of black magic that's connected with that, which is exactly one more reason why I'm also using this day, in addition to what is coming in. So there's a collective focus, then there's obviously the black magic that goes on from, let's say, the opposition, those of negative intent that try to hijack these energies. And I've been feeling a lot of clearing and healing around the soul abuse and rape of the mother and her body. And yeah. So she's reclaiming all of herself. We are reclaiming all of herself. She is us. Okay. So when we talk about these archetypes, we are all of these archetypes. All right. So we are collecting all of these aspects, unifying them all within, and then we keep what resonates, what is serving us, and we clear up and return to source. So to say, these archetypes that are not serving us anymore. Okay, but we need to unify all of them and see them as one of us, of the one, in order to do that. So no one can be anymore feeling as separate from us. Now there is still me in them. So it doesn't mean when we integrate and transcend our ego that we have no sense of self. No, you just get rid of your false sense of self, and you really get to know your true self. And this is what all this remembering is about, and this activation as well. And this is very much what the blue ray is also here, for wisdom. It's connected with the Melchizedek logos and family. It's connected to also this activation tomorrow, of course, the rose and the gray lines, the rose and the gray lines. So also the daughters of Christ, and really the lineage of Mary and Joshua, but it's really through other ages. It's been, you know, the Essenes, the Cathars. It's really those Ayani priestesses that hold the mother codes back from Lemurian timelines that were basically taken from us, and our DNA heavily, you know, through forced breeding, mutated, and other means, of course. So a lot of things have happened since then. So I work a lot with the Lemurian timeline because this is like a trigger event, the Holocaust and the forced breeding programs there, especially when it comes to the mother's Blu-ray and the original source codes, the cosmic, the perfect proton seed. So because the feminine line through the mitochondrial DNA RNA holds kind of, she is responsible for the lineage, really, okay, because the mother births and gives life, so the lineage runs really through her. And this is where the original source codes had been taken from us and distorted through then the interference through the invading races. Now we're healing all of this. All of the timelines are being healed as we are doing the work in many different ways. You know, some do very conscious timeline work, like I do. And then also, it really just happens through us adjusting all the behaviors that don't serve us, that kind of got us into this reality and that kind of went wrong back there. It's really self-explanatory. But those people who very much resonate with, you know, kind of Magi Grail kings and queens, or the indigo lines and the rose lines, the gray lines, they will have a deep sense of purpose and calling in retrieving the wisdom and retrieving all of our keys and codes, and the morphogenetic field, which are the instruction sets, it's our DNA, okay? And we can't do this when a magnetic field is being manipulated. It also holds the density down, all locked in density. And as we've cleared the moon connection to the moon matrix and black box and Saturn matrix, which the moon was also part of the gravitational pull, as we know, through, you know, full moons and ebb and flow. So as this has been disconnected and it's all been dismantled also in our own field, all the connections and implants and inserts and all of this is literally, we're almost squeaky clean. And again, everybody is at a slightly different stage, okay? But I can really feel it. My body is now just upgrading, activating, upgrading. And it's just really, we're getting just rid of the residue of some false memory imprints. So it's a lot of this, what I'm doing also is a deprogramming of clearing out any of the information that I've learned over the years, and open myself up to receive the information that is highest, because again, what we see or what even might be on Ascension Glossary might not be true anymore. So for example, she's not speaking of 72 strands of triple helix DNA. There might also be reasons for it. That doesn't mean that this is not true. Now, I know it for myself. I can't give you all the mathematical and technical details behind it. I know more and more people are tapping into this and are confirming it. So I just know this is part of why I am here, because I remember enough of who I am. Now, my mission is literally to retrieve the wisdom, our true history records, okay? And the emerald tablets, our cosmic records, okay? Who we are, where we came from, the history of humanity, okay? Which is also basically instruction sets for our DNA and our morphogenetic field. It's all the same, okay? And this then also equals the organic essential realities. So that's why I'm so driven, because I also know I hold it within my DNA, the instruction sets. So that's why I do what I do and share so much, many different ways, because I'm aware of the gifts and how I can use them. And this is also, you know, a way of light anchoring it. So I really implore you of all of these downloads that are coming in now, all of these huge light codes and the remembering, or whatever is coming through, your gifts and abilities, light grounded. So whether it's writing it down, painting it, singing it, sharing it with someone, nobody needs to read it. I mean, just one person. It's just a way of, you know, light grounded into this reality in some way, because that's why I share a lot of the things I do, because it has many different reasons and it activates our people. So this is about really us. So on one level, we are dissolving into the oneness, and, you know, there is just one true self of us all that we all share. But then it's also, as we are releasing, transcending the false self, we're also merging with our true self, and then really remember who we truly are and what really our mission was. So this is also why I'm bringing the activations through tomorrow for the Blu-ray, because I'm very much here to bring the original Blu-ray back, and also as part of the Emerald Order. And really, it's all about remembering. So I know I hold this in my blueprint, in my DNA print, because this is part of these original source codes that I and many that are listening here are carrying, and that feel in resonance with me, and that we're here to activate together. And I know when we are doing this together, and it's already started the last 2 days, this activation, and it really is available also up until the 25th. The field will still be very active until about 11 p.m. UK time. And again, these are just coordinates, okay? And just to say, I know it shows on Facebook as free. It's really based on donation. I do appreciate if you can to make a donation if you're choosing to take part in the activation at the time. If you listen to this or see this and choose to tune into the field remotely, so via telepathic connection, consciousness, intent, you can do it at any time, and I don't expect anyone to give a donation then. But as always, all I do is on donation, and I know we're all, there's obviously a squeeze on right now as we're squeezing through the eye of the needle. But if you can support me back, and what I share and do is supporting you, I thank you very much. And the details are below in the description box. And thank you so much for anyone who sent through a donation for the activation or just because. And for my birthday, thank you so much everyone for my birthday wishes on the 14th. And that was another amazing thing. Massive activations came in, massive solar filament came off the sun, and also 14 hours of the magnetosphere basically was broken open, and we were getting a massive amount of codes in. Okay, so this is why we really need to take this thing down, which is also what we're doing tomorrow, and along with the ozone layer, which again is part of, the chemtrails hanging around, and we can't get all of photonic light we need in order to activate us into the diamond selves that we are. So I leave the description again also beneath for those that don't have Facebook of the activation. Please do read it. I know these are long texts, but they do act as activations within themselves, and they carry keys and codes. So there is a purpose behind it. And yeah, so what I could feel on the 14th was really the inner dragon, the cosmic mother is fully rebirthing, really has returned, and is now awakening all the cosmic dragons, which is really our inner Christic dragon aspect. Christic is really also the crystalline consciousness. Okay, this is really what it stands for. That's why we sometimes write it with K, more so than just connected to the Christ and the Christ story. And what was I saying? Of course, we needed to come at some point, and I forget what I was saying. Yeah, so the Christic dragon aspect of ours, it's really the most ancient. It's really the 12-dimensional plus consciousness layers. This is our most ancient, and it's our protective, it's our powerful aspect, it's our wisdom. So the dragon aspect really carries, again, our source codes, okay, and our ancient wisdom and our history records. And this is what activates our DNA and our blueprint, okay? It's one and the same, and obviously with the help of a lot of cosmic help and help through Solaris that is receiving the sun from the great central sun, and through the stargates all the way back through the Andromeda matrix, Aurora matrix, and Andromeda, back to Aurora, all the way back to source. So basically what this is us connecting to our ancient wisdom and retrieving the history records, is us awakening our ancient Magi self, which before was 24 to 48 DNA strands, which most indigos carry. So we carry more than the kind of standard divine human of 12 strands, which is now 13 to 50. But really it's beyond that, because we're reconnecting all of the consciousness back to source, which is why the 13-dimensional grid is what's coming online, which is also the super magnetism of the cosmic mother. And what I'm seeing is it's very much connected to the heart, and us actually shifting the mind to the heart, because the magnetosphere is also very much connected to, again, our consciousness. Okay, so which has obviously been manipulated, and that's also what the ozone layer does. So it interferes with the frequencies that are trying to come in and the light. So we will be basically focusing on our light body activations, diamond plasma light body activations, the DNA. Again, everybody picks up as much as they can and are willing to. And what I'm also seeing is that as all races then get access to the 12-strand, 15-strand DNA blueprint, they later on, though, are also having the opportunity to expand through the evolutionary process to expanded, additional strands of DNA, because that's literally just additional gifts and abilities, but connected to consciousness, a higher level of consciousness, because kind of 12D is the last sort of physicalized reality. And we do have another pre-meta field beyond that, so 13 to 15 dimensional, and that's really coming online now, as I said, with the Rishi level, which are our guardian or ascended master levels, which hadn't been physicalized before, but now we are starting to embody that, those that are ready. Okay, this is, again, we are doing this whole ascension process for the collective together. That's really us getting rid of the artificial grid, returning organic reality, so then people do have a proper chance of choosing organic ascension or not, because at the moment it's highly distorted in so many layers, and there's obviously no clear communication, and most people don't even know they have a soul, or that there's, life after death. So yeah, so we are returning that knowledge and that connection to source back, totally clearing out with the event imminent, any moment now, clearing out those false realities and the holographic overlays, because it's like you have an organic grid and it's like intertwined with artificial realities, but we are overstepping that at the moment, and the other is being totally dissolved through this diamond white rainbow light, which is basically down stepping all the way down from the God worlds and the Godhead, the frequencies and pure source light. And within the mother's cosmic womb, which is also the cosmic dragon mother, it's all being really alchemized. Anything that's false, artificial, and organic is really just being alchemized and transmuted. And yeah, and it's also happening within us. So there's a huge reset happening of the consciousness, the magnetism within us, and that's been reflected through the cracks within the magnetic field. We already have the shift of the poles that I have, because also there's an artificial tilt. It used to be within the planet, which is also how we not have been able to access source frequencies and have been funneling basically into a phantom matrix system, which has now been, all the connections for totally have been dissolved. Okay, so we're just really dealing kind of with what's still hanging around on the grids, but ultimately it's almost all fully gone. There is just right now just running more and more diamond frequencies. We have reclaimed the stargates. They are receiving higher and higher frequency light through us upgrading to 72 dimensional frequency bands. So they are also running through the stargates. I will share a link or a list with stargates tomorrow also that we can focus on. But what I want to do is actually also give the advice. What I will be, or what I'm guided to do, is what I usually do with these activations at the beginning. It's a whole kind of process of just clearing the energy field of every one of the participants and the field. So it's a whole kind of purification, healing, balancing, upgrading, activation happening of the field. So DNA, RNA, cellular, the whole morphogenetic field. Okay. So, and then I go into the more specific activations that are also collective, that are listed in the event descriptions. And then a lot comes in. I'm most likely going to stay longer in the field. I might try and go in a little bit earlier, but what I'm guided to do is also to tell you to really drop into the heart, to not try and figure this out too much. So even if I share list the stargates, don't try and connect or, you know, make it all happen unless you're guided to, of course. Okay, always go with your own guidance. But ultimately, this shift, this reset is very much connected. I'm being shown from the shift from the head into the heart. It's obviously also a unification of the heart and mind and the right and the left brain and pineal and pituitary gland, and the masculine and feminine, because that's at the core of all the polarities. So that's to keep in mind, especially also the coming days, because I really feel this next week, this is it. When the internet goes offline, we will be connected through the Emerald Heart Grid telepathically. Those who are here to hold the field will know what to do. It will just come online, okay? But that's why it's so important also to keep strengthening the telepathic communication. And I have to say, when the energies are so strong, I mean, I'm glad I can speak now, but earlier on, yesterday, I don't want to speak. It's hard to speak, to come out with coherent sentences, and just bring, you know, come up with the right words. And it also is a lot of effort, or at times, you know, you can't write. And we are really moving to telepathic communication, because speaking brings in separation. Okay, it's one of the things that I really, you know, as I said before, it's him, her, them, us, me, and also past, present, future. So as soon as we use language, it gets kind of lost in translation, the message we're trying to bring across. We do try our best, but the future, the new grid, is telepathic. We will still use language, but much more minimized, and a lot more for toning, singing, that kind of thing. And then also you don't have the problem anymore with, you know, miscommunication as much, and in between countries. So it's a bit like dolphins communicate. It's kind of, and that's also how I receive messages. So it's really a picture with a data download. So it's a cognition, and it's a whole package of information kind of within a picture. So basically, most of us have now, what we've been going through also has been a lot about transcending the insanity. So, and whilst that happens, it feels like we're going insane. Now, there's also a lot of mental stuff that's clearing, but it's also obviously the whole programming that is out there that says we are insane. You know, what we believe in is crazy or doesn't exist. Okay, and we needed to overcome this ourselves. This is part of the initiation, because we're transcending all the programming once and for all within the collective, because it's really our doubt as well that's reflected back at us, because we've so been blank slated so much. Okay, every time we incarnated and remembering less and less of who we really were, you know, and that's part of it basically. So remembering is us also then stepping fully in our mission and purpose, and there are new mission upgrades coming online, and what's coming up, I mean, yeah, it's just huge. I don't know exactly what. I have my ideas, but how exactly it's going to play out, I have no idea. And a lot of things are also not set until they really happen. And especially the time we've entered since really the 4th of July, where really it's now wide open multidimensional quantum field with infinite possibilities always now, less and less is really set. So the general trajectory, yes, and it's ordained. I really feel it's basically imminent for a massive shift in the consciousness to unfold, so the full awakening, because I know I'm feeling it, many are starting to feel it as well. And that's just what I'm here for. So that's the thing as well. So my remembering, because I was also seeing, so us remembering who we are, okay? really only happens by fully transcending the ego. That's the funny thing. It's like a both and it's like a paradox. So you need to totally let go of the idea who you really are and any need to be anyone special as such, because we're all obviously special. But as you do this, you then get to know your true self, and the true memories come back. So it's like you need to make space of the false data to then for the true data to be activated, also obviously through the DNA activations and all the solar energy. But basically, so as I was saying also, why I want to do this activation is because I feel very much connected to the rose line, the gray lines. And this is why I'm here, because I carry the Cosmic Ascension template. I'm like a core fractal, and I've shared before. I do remember being the daughter of Mary and Joshua, Sarah, and this makes sense. So it's important because it makes sense tied in with all the other pieces I have collected throughout my journey of what I'm here to do and what my purpose is. Because it very much, that lineage, and it really goes through other timelines again as well. It's not even just connected to those two archetypes, consciousness fields. It's what that lineage is really there for, is it's holding the Trinity. So you have the polarities, the divine masculine, feminine, and the Holy Trinity is the divine Christus child, Christus Sophia. So that's what I represent, and we obviously all represent. But it's like I carry like a core template where I have, it's like a core fractal. And that gives me access to all the interdimensional stargates and the instruction sets for the DNA and the morphogenetic field. And that's why I'm sharing it. But I don't run around with it, because I know this is coming up in the field right now of, this insecurity. We don't want to like run around with a spiritual ego, I'm this and that, because ultimately, it doesn't matter, because it's about who are we now, but it matters in us understanding why we're here and what our mission, our purpose is, because then everything makes sense. And this is tied in with so many other things I've learned about myself in other lifetimes, because it's really, was born as a Cathar as well, and in Montsegur, as a daughter from Esclarmonte de Fox, and then, also as a daughter of King Solomon. So it makes sense. And I was also, a beggar, and, I had many other lifetimes where I was nothing special, okay? But the codes, the purpose, that lineage I carry, and that, along with all the other pieces I've collected, then makes sense to me of, this is my purpose, this is my mission. That's why I'm so driven of bringing back these codes, of doing what I'm doing, and of doing this activation tomorrow, because I believe very much, I'm an integral part of it, the same as you are also. So this is not coming from spiritual ego, but just us understanding of, it's important to know in that regard that then everything makes sense. But then at the same time, it's ultimately all imagined. These are literally just archetypes. Nobody needs to be attached to any of this stuff. And I said before, it's the same as if somebody would call me a reincarnation of Hitler. If they would have changed, I would be their biggest fan, because it's ultimately of who are we choosing to be now. That's what all of this is about. Nobody cares who you were, because there are a lot of us who've also, have fallen. And those are literally the fallen angelics. And we all have parts of this that we had to rehabilitate, of course. That's why it's important to not see them as separate from us and us versus them, although that does play out. Because, I can tell it's not just about us sitting there and saying, I'm just imagining this and wishing it all away. No, we need to then find out, okay, it's like a reverse engineering of how the heck did we get here? And we've been doing a lot of that. So the deprogramming, reprogramming, the behaviors that got us here, really the thought forms and belief systems, which are the programs that make up the realities that we occupy, what we really believe in. And a lot of that had been buried in our unconscious, which had unconsciously created our realities on autopilot, then heavily influenced by all this automated mind control. And, we totally forgot. So the remembering is what brings online our purpose, our mission, our gifts, our abilities, our power. Because then we remember what we're here for, to activate our DNA, to, help other people do that. Even if, some people might be screaming, nobody can do that for you. It's not as if I'm doing it for you, okay, as such, but it's like we bring in these frequencies, and it's like what I have activated in my field, it will be easier for other people to pick up, and my field heals. As we have a healed field, someone fully enlightened sitting here, you know, you would be literally just fully healed just by listening to me. Now, we're doing our best, but, you know, we're very, very close to that. But I truly believe that is how healing ultimately works, okay? So that's why it's so important to lead by example, and ultimately we're here just way shorts. Yeah, so we're here though to remember, so this is our role, but not to touch it, because there's obviously a trap there that you then get so connected to your spiritual ego that it's this whole like attachment to it, and then you're like, you know, again, the good versus the bad, and, you know, good versus evil. And that's not how we win this, because then you're in separation consciousness and you're lost in a dream. And what I'm being shown really through this journey into the unconscious of the human collective is that it's just people being lost in a dream to different levels. And me too. It's like me, I'm in sleep paralysis and I can't wake up. And it's like, I just want to wake up. And I think many of us feel like this, especially now as the memory comes back, we're literally imagining all of this. You know, it's a collective dream, but, you know, you need to go to the end of the madness, the psychosis, to then transcend it. But you need to realize that you're mad, in a sense, like without really being mad. You get me? It's like kind of, you are conscious of that you have lost a coherent way of perceiving the world. And this is what has created an artificial holographic version of it in a bigger sense of the one consciousness. And this is also how we transcend through the oneness, the idea of karma. And this is also debt forgiveness, which I really saw completing fully on the 15th of July. This is done because everybody's played a role, and this is where everybody goes home one way or another. And home is ultimately right inside our heart. So we're not going really anywhere. This is about us projecting a whole new reality from the inside out. Okay? And that's also what a lot of us had to overcome, fear of persecution and attacks and all of this, because even if it plays out in a small screen, there is a whole multidimensional layer or layers and other lifetimes that we had to correct by learning how to deal with these things and to heal our energy field and then maintain a sovereign energy field and no longer feed the energetic vampires, because that's the only way that we can get rid of them and starve them out. Because obviously we can't keep behaving the way we did in all these codependent narcissistic pattern, victimize or role plays. That's not new way of living. That's the old distorted polarity consciousness. And that is very much manifested in the masculine feminine divide and polarization and gender split and gender divide. That's a lot of what we've been seeing as well. And as well with the whole, you know, women reclaiming the rights over the womb debate. It's all a reflection of what we're healing here right now. So this is also going to help us and collectively with the activation coming in tomorrow. And it's already happening. I mean, very, very intense crystallization, activation happening. I can feel just my whole body is just literally awakening. Like not as in, yeah, I'm, you know, full of energy and jumping around, but I just can feel at the cellular level, it's just filling with light and awakening. Like my body is becoming conscious and online. What was before kind of dead in a sense, and, you know, carbon turning crystalline, basically. So us transcending the fear matrix is us transcending fear, because it's based on fear, false limiting programming that isn't real. And fear is a synonym for false evidence appearing real. Most of the suffering happens in our imagination. I do believe that. So as we're no longer afraid of the unknown, we're no longer afraid of the suffering of what's ahead of us. That's freedom. No longer worried what other people think of us. Okay, when you just stand in your truth at all times, that's you embodying your true self. But first of all, obviously, you need to know who's your true self and what are the false layers. But it's becoming very obvious, because it's like, you know, everything will come up now hologram to show us what still needs to be corrected and aligned. And it's that alignment with our crystal diamond avatar self that brings it online. So it's aligning with that consciousness. And the consciousness is coming online, and any incoherent thought forms, belief systems are kind of being known by the consciousness, because we are unifying again as one consciousness, because we've always been one, but now we're becoming aware of it. And it's obviously one thing to talk about and a whole other thing to feel it and be it at all times. So we're now fully, for this last week, beautiful work, everyone. I mean, so much happening. Again, I shared more in my other posts. It's impossible to now mention everything, but basically just know that keep letting go, okay? Nothing to hold on to. It's our attachment to form, attachment in general, that creates suffering. And there's nothing to hold on to right now. This is a false reality, okay? Just let it all go and let the truth be shown to you. That's the surrender to source, as well as fully reclaiming our power. Again, it's a both end. It's a paradox right now that's happening. Because it's like, as you dissolve in the oneness, you know you are the one who has created all of this. So there are no more victims and victimizers. And that's then how we fully reclaim our power. And then we are like, oh, wait, we've created all of this. Now I can change it. But with that then also comes great responsibility. The same with remembering who we are. But then you're also just driven by, a higher power, literally, by source. But your version of it, your unique fractal that you get to have fun with. So you have your own unique expression. Okay. So you're not one of, you're not losing your identity at all. You're literally learning it. You're getting to know thyself. And that's the key to everything. And as you know thyself, you know yourself as source. And then when you know yourself as source, you know yourself as one with all. And that's unity grid right there inside of you. And we are running that as a consciousness. That's the energy current. And that's a tri-wave. And that's what I'm here to bring, the Holy Trinity, the Grail codes, and all of us. That's the Trinity wave. That's the tri-wave. Okay. And that's really the integrated polarity. And that's also the divine union. That's also very much connected to the twin flames. And I also came across one thing that I just want to read out quickly from Ascension Glossary. Was part of magnetic field manipulation. And I came across, it mentions twin monad splitting. It's very much connected to this whole Melchizedek logos. So basically Blu-ray now being fully returned to the original Blu-ray. And the twin flame split that I also see very much obviously connected to the Lemurian timeline, where the twins have been separated and a lot of trauma and wounds we are healing right now. So here she says, so basically it's about the magnetic field and how it's been manipulated. At the same level, what this is about the changing of structure that have been distorted into aggressive use of separations of the male and female energy principles at multiple levels that are beyond levels of comprehension, meaning that it's all about male and female separation, but it's going all the way from this understanding of the Vesica Pisces and the bipolar split of the monads, that split of monads. So split the monads apart, meaning that what happened was the twin monad was split, and one was dragged into an extreme negativity while the other was carrying the way forward in a sense. So it's like some parts of us have fallen through the twin monad splitting, and this also was a part of the drag that was being created on the false structures. So that just really resonated with me, and I just wanted to quickly share that. I leave the link also below and you can read it. So it's within the link of magnetic field manipulation, and it's called twin monad splitting. And it really much resonates because I think some of us can very much feel, especially a lot of the feminines, as if we are, ahead, and kind of the masculine got stuck somewhere in their journey and don't know way forward. And this is really explaining it, because it also explains kind of the split within the consciousness and the inversions within the consciousness, because it's like two suns and one sun inverted, like imploded in on itself. So kind of one is stuck, or one is, kind of negatively polarized and, from a kind of consciousness way of perceiving things. So actually, I'm just thinking, if you think about that, because then the feminine would be more positive and the masculine would negative, although it's actually, you know, the other way around, isn't it? Usually, as in the magnetic electric charges. Now with the flip happening, that kind of, I need to contemplate on that. Sorry, these are ramblings. So anyway, I hope that maybe makes sense to someone. What I just said there. You never know, you never know. So basically, it's us now dissolving the artificial holographic overlays. That's part of the magnetic field reset, and that resets the consciousness because it's all interconnected. Okay, and it's all interconnected with our heart. So really, I can implore you now, try to go away from trying to figure out what's going to happen or what we need to figure out in general. Keep dropping within the silence, keep going beyond the words, keep going beyond the structures, keep going beyond identification, keep going beyond form, beyond time, beyond space, keep going beyond, because we're going beyond the constructs of the mind. So let it go in order for God to literally fulfill you. Okay, and drop into your heart, keep going into the silence, because that's also how we run the highest frequencies, and that's how God speaks through us as us. When we empty ourselves out of the ego mind chatter and trying to figure it out. And this is where we want to get to, you know, when you have these moments, for those lucky ones of us that had these Buddhic states of consciousness, where you really just, it's just a beingness, and you just have consciousness flow through you as you need it. You're not trying to remember, holding on, you know, concentrating like this, like breaking your brain in half to figure something out, because it's cognition. It's a higher intelligence, and it is not how we've learned in school of trying to, you know, remember and recite things over and over again. And it's also fun because, you know, many things you can't remember, and that's good. It's a good thing, just like in school. So make space, really surrender, nothing to hold on to, whatever may happen or not happen. Keep imagining the best. Imagination is your superpower. You can't really get this wrong, okay? The fear of failure will create failure, okay? You just need to jump, and every time you transcend any fear, we really quantum leap and our DNA activates, because again, this is all about transcending fear, transcending the illusion, because death is an illusion. Okay, of course, yes, it's real in this reality, but ultimately our consciousness never dies. Okay, so we are eternal. And this is why everybody is so afraid out there, because we are grabbing onto the physical world as some security, but believe me, this is all going, gone. So we are leading the way as we do this, okay? This goes out into the field, because everybody remembers now that this is not as real. It's just energy, frequency, vibration. It's sacred geometries. That's another thing. I could see today also the sacred geometries are all being shifted. Okay, all the false geometries, which create kind of false realities in matter, are not false, manipulated artificially, is being cleared and literally re-encrypted. So matter is shifting. We are shape-shifting. I've seen this before, and we will see a lot more as the magnetic field reset happens. And that is connected again with our heart. So let's keep dropping into our heart. That only happens when we can release the fear. That opens the heart. Also the whole healing of our heart right now. This was coming up. It's really a heart tsunami. I love tsunami. The supernova of the heart. And the last bit is really just healing the betrayal, healing the fear, healing, you know, the worries, the grief. And we've, you know, the forerunners, I really feel we're there. It's a little bit more about around the heart. I'm going to do a little light language activation quickly now. I will also try and put the activations that I've recorded from the last few videos onto my SoundCloud. I just need to get around to it. I didn't have my internet for over a week and my laptop Anyway, and the energies are just super intense, and technical things right now, really, like sometimes I just cannot compute, or a lot of the time. And the same with comments and so forth. I'm really sorry if I can't get back to them right now, just as many, or, you know, it depends on the day and the time. We're all doing our best here, and a lot of things need to just drop by the wayside, especially anything to do with AI for me. So just keep remembering, all experiences are always co-created by us, by the one. So we transcend fully and totally the victim-victimizer again, and we don't forget again. Okay, this is always a two-way street. It's always a co-creation. Whatever we experience, okay, it's part of us. So we always, it's all about us. We keep bringing it back to us, because if it wasn't, if we were all fine, nothing that would happen in our reality would even, you know, bother us as such, or, you know, we wouldn't let it drag us down in, you know, in frequency. And one more thing, again, frequency, holding the frequency doesn't mean you're always just happy, okay? It just means you hold a higher set of consciousness, even though you're going through the crap, through the clearings, through the insanity, okay? Most of the time, I've said this before, I don't feel great. I'm quite cranky, but I have an inner contentment within the suffering. That's the best way I can describe it, okay? Because I know what I'm here for. I know I'm transmuting a lot, and I don't judge it. Yes, I want to feel great, and I want to be in bliss, and I know I'm also here to bring in the bliss codes, which is the hilariousness. But again, it makes sense to me. So it's like, okay, you know, we're really done with all of this. I really feel this is it. Okay, this is a big, massive completion on all levels. I hope you can feel it. Okay, reclaim it, reclaim your power, reclaim your guardianship, reclaim your identities. Okay, reclaim your memories, your history records, your DNA. That's you reclaiming your DNA. Literally, it's you reclaiming all of your body parts, all of your spiritual selves, your multidimensional selves. It's all the same. Okay, and this is also us healing. Is also the abundance, because this is what brings online a whole new reality. But we can't do this from us trying to figure out what's going to happen, reading loads of channelings, them telling us it's what's going to happen. It's us literally dropping into the silence, letting it all collapse, the old realities within a 0-point field of divine love and neutrality. It's beyond words, it's beyond form, it's in the silence. As we hold this long enough now, okay, really, this needs to be a focus. I'm getting really strongly. Be able to collapse the old realities, and the new will be shown to us through us. Okay, so try not to figure it out. How, what, when. You will know what you need to know. Your job is to empty yourself out and unify with source. And all of your aspects, and everybody in this reality is helping you. So any trigger, any judgment, use this as an invitation to integrate another aspect of you that you're at odds with and that you can't see is also part of you. Because they will keep coming around until they do not trigger you anymore. And again, doesn't mean that we can't be angry or whatever. No, no, no. We need to feel everything. You need to acknowledge all of these aspects, all of these feelings in order for them to release. Just don't identify with them. Don't identify with the feelings, the thought patterns, okay, that are clearing. Just let them go, because they're not you. They're an artificial algorithm, a false self that has been part of this crazy matrix, okay? Connect to source consciousness, and we do this by becoming empty. Meditation is a big part of it, and any moment now, hopefully, that will be very effortless, as we don't have all these crazy frequencies and mental energy running through the consciousness fields. Yeah, because we've done a lot of re-encryption of the consciousness and trying to sort it out from the artificial to the organic, and what we keep and what needs to go back to source. So just checking very quickly if I forgot saying anything that would be mentioned this last time. So any mentioning of an ascension timeline that still includes AI is a false ascension timeline. That's all I can see. This is all about us fully clearing artificial realities. So yeah, that's just not going to happen. I mentioned that before. I think I don't know if it was in the last video or just in my writings. So anyway, I think I will leave it at that, blah, 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 words, words, words. It's beyond the words, okay? So, and so much has been happening. I mean, it's all, you just need to flow with it. The bliss, the joy, the grief, the sadness, just let it flow through you, okay? It's not you. Just see yourself. I mean, it's what I do all the time. Really, it's just clearing, 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 calling in more light, calling in more light, clearing, 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 and over again until this is done, until it's clean, clean, clean. And what I see is a lot of diamond white rainbow light all around, all filling the field, the whole planetary body. So the stargates are ready inside. These are also our chakra points, and in the planetary body, massive crystalline activations, also the whole crystalline grids and crystalline caverns. Inner earth is very much coming online, and this is also very much holding the correct information as we clear out the false codings from the grids. Now I'm going to do a quick light language activation. I'm being guided to. And just to help us open and prepare our hearts a little bit, for those especially who are taking part in the remote activation. So again, it's purely telepathic. I can't enter this any other way in Facebook unless I want to do a ticket sale through them. That's just the only way I can do it, free. And the online, I had to do this on my phone because I didn't have laptop. So anyway, it is what it is. You need to read the description, okay? It's like a placeholder in Facebook, so you have the date and the reminder there. Anyway, so read the description, please, if you're interested in taking part. Now let's do a tiny little activation to heal and open our heart a little bit more. And yeah, just sit down and relax if you like. Just whatever's most comfortable for you. Just take a couple of deep breaths. Letting go of any tension, any stress. Breathing in love. And breathing it out into our energy field. Radiating out from our sacred crystal heart. Beautiful streams of crystalline, diamond, white and soft pink, rainbow crystalline light. That's filling out, streaming forth from our heart center, filling our field. Our whole morphogenetic field filled up with beautiful crystalline, diamond white, soft pink rainbow crystalline light. Sushukara sana ina sunate yakiata. Ayanana yaki. Sukuya shana yate. Sanate yaki ina saturata yakiata. Nea is se nae aneante. kunae Itanae nayate unasanae ateaya. Anayateru unatana nashiate akanata. Uanase ianate anayanatanana ianatuyaya. Uhae unainate nuinasiana. Tuya inanea. Now see beautiful crystalline, diamond white and blue rainbow light coming from your heart center, filling your whole field, beautiful aquamarine blue ray frequencies. Esunate eunae tuya ina uanae esunate ana tuyane ane ane naite unase ane mm, 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 mm. See your field, your morphogenetic field, and the soft crystalline diamond white, blue and pink rainbow light, mixing in beautiful colors, turning purple, beautiful swirling colors, all the rainbow, crystalline, iridescent, opalescent light, beautiful pink and blue, mixing into a violet, beautiful ultraviolet, clearing, harmonizing, balancing, upgrading our whole morphogenetic field to the highest divine blueprint available in this now moment, across all space and time. We unify all of us as one consciousness, one true self, in divine union and love with all of life everywhere. Remembering our true history records, cosmic origins, our true identity, and organic essential realities as they activate from within. Una ashkaita na sakara tunayena isutaya nake. Enona ye, enona sana ye ki unanate. Enona ye, ushunanta, ke ane ana. Tuna ye usuna, teke nane. Enonate, enonasana, shana ye. Kianate no suna yenate, una nase nate, unanate, unanate. Te ana ushkura yanake iskanate yakarasa aharaskunata asakaya tara sanate yakeateata. Activating the emerald crystal in our sacred crystal heart. Emerald heart network throughout the grids in the planetary body, interdimensional stargate system and communication network. Muna ke eske shata sa yina ke akekina sata ashkunayata. Sunayina ki ita rayana sukiki ina karashko kunatara satara sata. Kina suye ananatu yana ye anate anasu yana yake. Ina aku ishita ishkanate I ayakaras tukita. Ina ete ishkunataya manane. Enanani na sena tanana inana sena inana ye. Unana inana. Unana ne. Inata. Inu ina sena te. Inana. Inana. Activating our magic grey king and queen from deep within, our Christic dragon self. Cosmic dragons rise. Remember who you are. Remember your true history. To return it to humanity and all of life everywhere, our true origins. Corrected instruction sets, highest divine blueprint, DNA, RNA, quantum time codes, the divine blueprint of the 144 plus 3 S1 triple helix DNA, our carbon atoms turning crystalline and changing composition to 13 protons, 12 electrons, 13 neutrons, crystallizing our body, turning carbon to crystalline, our blood, our bones, our fascia, our skin, diamond heart and mind, all throughout our bodies, throughout the planetary body, activating the crystalline grids within and without. Activating the 13th dimensional magnetic grid. Asuka ashkanate e sunate yakana tara sakara sata una eana enusena teaka una sea tea tea shea kanatara sa. ya. Kasayana kina sitatayana sakaya. Sistayana teyana kana suna teya kara sararina teyuna ye. Ena sena yena 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 ye. Sukuna seteya. Su una shena teya ke ena darasa darasa. Kuyana yena na 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 yena se ana. Awakening the Holy Trinity within. Tri-wave current flowing throughout all the grid systems. Unity consciousness. Cosmic consciousness. Anchoring through us, through our hearts, into the grids, into the fields, into the consciousness, remembering ourselves as one. Opening our hearts to ever greater levels of love. Dissolving any remaining walls, harnesses, bindings around our hearts that may prevent it from opening. Any grief, sadness, loss, fear still held. We release it back to source with absolute ease and grace. Just let it all go. Surrender it all to source. Release, release, release. Unanatena sana shuna ina kia inu e na neuna e ana tatu nayana Iyana karasaka tuku ushkanateyake isunateya karasata. Releasing any remaining density back to source, filling our whole field with pure crystalline diamond white, platinum rainbow light, fully purifying, clearing, healing, upgrading and activating our whole morphogenetic field to the highest divine blueprint. Now, Esukara Shaka Teke na Kuiski Asha Naya Ke E Karaskara Sasa Koyanaki Kanasakara Shata Tuta Ekanaya. Now, just come fully back into your body, all of your multidimensional self, fully merging and activating our diamond avatar self, and shuffle diamond sun body, blueprints and templates of the new divine human. Activate the new Denic realities from the inside out in the timeless now. Sunayinate unana sanayate una e una isunate ashaka takaraya. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, I hope you enjoyed this. I will leave a download link below as well for the activation separately if you want to download it. I think it was just 18 minutes. Just the sound quality sometimes a bit better. And again, if you want to listen to it maybe offline. And yeah, just hearts wide open, minds wide open, and let love heal it all. Let the Cosmic Mother surround you with her love and heal all remaining wounds, worries, and fears. Release it back to source. We are here really to embody the new divine templates of the Cosmic Divine Mother and Cosmic Divine Father, but unified in an androgynous light body. So it's a both end. And but it's very much the magnetic force and the power of the heart and the power of love that really heals and shifts all now. And it leads the way as one with the mind in total harmony, balance, and union. The same with the right and left brain, the masculine and feminine, higher and lower self, heaven and earth. Okay, unified all as one within the Holy Trinity, within the 0 point field. And this is where all of the old realities are fully collapsing now within this super powerful field. All right. And don't get attached to anything else. All right. Just let it all go. People, places, things, jobs, houses, whatever it may be. Not that you need to lose them as such, but you just let your attachment go. Okay. Because what's meant for you will be free, free, free. And it's a 22722 date or another 22222 date and a 7. I mean, that alone, 7 is my number, the 222 and the 2222 and the 52s, they are my numbers. And the 333 is no 144 is none of that. So I don't know why I'm saying this, but obviously to activate you anyway. All for fun. Just go beyond even the numbers, the words, the form, drop into the silence and let God reveal to you the truth. That's the only way we will know, okay? Truly, the highest truth is us tuning into source ourselves, all right? And that's what we're here to do. We're here to remember. It's the same with gifts and abilities. They are remembered. We learn the basics and we pick things up and then we expand it further. Like opening stargates, clearing out entities, all that stuff. Nobody has taught me this. I just remembered. And I believe this is the case for most of us. Okay. And yes, we pick things up as well. It's a both end. But now is really the time to let because it's a lot of unlearning we had to do, because there is sadly a lot of distortion in the spiritual community and a whole lot of other programming that we had to unravel ourselves from. And we're still doing it. So empty yourselves. You can believe in things, just don't hold on to them and be attached to beliefs, because again, beliefs equal reality. So we cannot expect new realities if we keep thinking and perceiving realities the same way as we've always did. Okay, because really thoughts create matter. I mean, it's a whole frequency, obviously. And there's a lot more to it than just thinking something. You need to truly believe it. There needs to be no more. It's like a purity of frequency of that belief that really manifests, okay? And obviously as a co-creation and divine timing. So it's not about us forcing our ego will. That's why it's so important to tune into source, because that's what differentiates a white magician from a black magician? Do we use it for ego selfish purposes, or is it for the greater good of all? Are we in service, or if it's for service to self? Ultimately, it's for all of us, but it needs to be in harmony with the oneness, with the unity consciousness, instead of us just taking what we need. Okay, because that's what went wrong, because we weren't operating from unity consciousness, and this is what creates distorted polarized realities. Okay, so we unify and integrate the polarities. Just one more thing before I now stop this. The other indigo types, now also leave a link below so you can see this, are basically indigo 1 is usually the ones who work with grids and gates, with grid keepers a lot, and they literally have the keys. So they often have 48 strands of DNA, and they literally have the keys and codes for the manifestation of the new Edenic realities within their DNA. Okay, and these are a lot of the twin flames, these Edenic and Paradisian codes. So as we heal split within a monad, I really see those that are meant to be together will be together. Okay, it's kind of a chicken and the egg. It happens at the same time. It's quantum. That's how I'm seeing it. So it's not like you need to be together in order for the new to manifest. It's kind of, it happens at a much higher multidimensional layer and level, as much of this does. These realities that you see so far are the most unreal of all the dimensional layers. Okay, that's why we see beyond, to see what's really real, to see beyond the false and the illusions. That's what dissolves them. To go, beyond and see with your literally eyes closed. So, as Rumi says, close your eyes, fall in love, and stay there. And that's gonna be the motto now. Okay, obviously, again, in harmony with the mind, but it's very much shifting now. Okay, the heart leads, not the monkey mind, because that is trouble. But unified is one higher heart mind, and very much connected to our high heart that's activating, and that really brings also the monadic level of consciousness in, and we're doing this at a collective level. Okay, we are going beyond just the monadic level, but it's about a monad healing of the collective, so we can come back together with our soul groups and the people we're supposed to be with. Okay, and a lot of these people here not supposed to be here. And one more thing, oh yeah, to finish. I need to stop now. When I said about inserts and holographic inserts, that there are a lot of background people. We spoke about this before and also in posts. I do believe there's a difference between what people think are NPCs, non-player characters, and these background backfill people. What I'm talking about is these background people. They're literally holographic inserts, okay, and they're non-organic. And NPCs are more like our normal divine humans, but they have forgotten their divine. So they're not fully soul connected and embodied. They're just still very fragmented and kind of disconnected, although this is all healing. All right, so that's just the distinction I wanted to make. And again, take what resonates, leave the rest, as always with everything. Just to come back to the indigos, and then I'm done. So indigo 1 holds the highest blueprint and really holds, we do a lot of the grid and the gate work. Then indigo 2 is usually the ones in service, so a lot of the healers and, who, are the artists and the, those who speak light language and, so forth. I mean, it's not just obviously in that level, but who are more, service driven and here to, basically these are mission contracts. The indigos are usually more mission driven. Okay. And obviously there are different states of awareness. And indigo 3 are really the polarity integrators. So, and their contracts are changing as well, because this won't be necessary anymore as we have integrated kind of the fallen angelic consciousness within ourselves. Now, I always mostly resonate with indigo 1, but really all of them. All 3 of them, obviously, I'm doing. And that's also what I see with the new Indigo type 4, with the 72 strand triple helix DNA coming online, is that it incorporates all of these types plus full multidimensional timeline access, reality access. So literally being able to move across all dimensional layers and levels throughout time and space. So really choosing the realities. We have literally full, multidimensional access and literally eternal life, because you have accessed eternal consciousness, okay? Because you're really operating on full God source consciousness. So, and that's available to us now. So let's activate that. I'm done. I think that's it. I shouldn't speak anymore. It's been long enough. Be part of the activation if you want to. Thank you for your support. Like, share, subscribe, comment. All of what I'm babbling on about, although it wasn't succinct and quintessence is not one of my strengths, it's helping you, just listening to my voice, to help your whole field, to clear, balance, harmonize, and upgrade and activate. So I hope it helped. Thank you so much for being here now. Thank you for keeping on going. Let's drop into the science, let's drop into our hearts and open them up wide. Okay. So I love you so much. Keep being you and awaken your inner dragon. Okay. Let's keep remembering. Let's remove the last veil of forgetfulness together, because this is what's going to bring this all online. So super exciting energies. I hope you can feel it. I hope the intensity will lift into a blissful ecstasy. That's it. Bliss, blissful ecstasy. That's what's up next. From surviving to thriving, for sure. That's what's on the menu, okay? And we came to make it happen. I can't say this strongly enough. Whilst we also surrender, it's a both end. It might sound like a paradox, but it's knowing when to do and when to be, when to surrender and when you are asked to, now I need to do this, make a video or write a post, whatever it may be. Do something nice for your neighbor, okay? Make a meal for your family. It's everything. Everything is this every 30 seconds, okay? It's mostly about mindfulness and being super conscious, all right? Not so much of what anyone thinks spirituality is about. That will need to be redefined, I think. So anyway, thank you so much. Keep seeing through the illusions to dissolve them, and keep being the light, keep being the change, keep showing the way, all right? By being the example. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's really just being your true self. So I love you guys.